Hi everyone, Sandy here. Welcome to my channel. This is the tutorial video for my little organizer that I designed for Country Craft Creations using my design team package Echo Park Chickens collection. I have a separate walkthrough on this to show you this in detail, so do check out that video. This is the tutorial and we'll start shortly on making the organizer base and also the folders on the inside and then putting all our inserts in, so stay tuned. Before we start making our little organizer box using the Echo Park Chicken collection, I'm going to go over the supplies really quick. So I have a few of the tools here as well. Not shown here. I will be using a 12x12 trimmer, the 12x12 scoreboard, and bone folder. I have my bone folder here, and scoring tool. Then I'm also going to use a spacer. Now I like these 1/8 of an inch spacers from Country Craft Creations. This is probably the 1/2 inch, but it's this width here that I'm going to be looking for. Of course, my scissors. I have 4 small magnets. I'm going to put those in here with my ephemera. I think I will be using this Dress My Craft notch punch. Need some score tapes to secure my magnets. Like I said, the bone folder. Art glitter glue that I have in my Spellbinders dispenser from Country Craft Creations. And in here I have, like I put my magnets, but I also have my ephemera, my flowers, and my ribbons that I got in my design team package. I will be using the sticker sheet. I did pick out 2 pieces, the chickens, which is the our coop chickens, and this plaid, the together plaid. I think I want that for the outside of my box. I have extra papers. I'll pick out something for the inside, but then you do need to pick out 8 sheets for your sleeves on the inside. So these are the ones that I picked. You choose what you want. I'm going to use these flowers. Probably that, the chicken print, these with chickens, like that, the chicken wire, I like that one, plaid, flowers, and these 2 prints. So you pick out 8 that you like for your sleeves, because they'll be made out of patterned paper. You need 2 12x12, any color that goes with your collection. I'm going to use this kind of natural color. You're not going to see that much of it, but that's what I'm going to use for my wrapping of my box container. And I think I can cut what I need out of just one of the 12x12 heavyweight chipboard. So I'm going to get these cut, and then we'll come back and we'll assemble the outer part of our organizer. Okay, so out of that one 12x12 heavyweight chipboard, I made 1 cut at 7. Then from the 12x7 section, I cut 2.5, 2.5, 3, and 4. So that took care of that 12-inch length. So these are all 7 inches long, 2.5, 2.5, 3, and 4. And then out of the remaining piece, I cut it down to 5 inches. I had 5 inches left, 5, and cut that down to a 7-inch length. So I had a little square that I just put in my scraps for another project. So this is what you need to cut. You need 1 5x7, 1 4x7, 1 3x7, and 2 2.5x7s. Okay, so I'm going to get my regular trimmer here. We take our cardstock. And we want this to be, cut it to 9, each one to 9 inches. Save that scrap. Take your 12x12 and cut it down to 9-inch length. Save your scrap over here. Oops. Now we're going to join these together, but our end result is going to be a total of 20 inches. So this is 12 and 12, so that's 24. So we're going to overlap these. So we need a total of about 20 inches. So I'm leave this in at 12. I'm going to overlap it at 12, 8. I'm going to cut this down to 10 just to give me the smaller piece to work with. And then I will trim it down to what I need. Okay, so now we have that. Let's get this piece here. You take your score tape. I have the score tape in my supplies. This is a 3/8 inch. And I'm going to put it at the end down here. Right there. I'm going to burnish that. Pull this off. And then we're going to join these two pieces together. So this is 12 and this is 10. So that's almost a 1/2 inch on each coming off. Line these up straight as I can. Just like that. And burnish it. Turn it over and burnish. It's a little off down here, but that's okay. So now I need a ruler here. So this is right here. Give you my 12. And then we're going to trim this one down some. At the 8. So that's going to cut off on this one 1.5 inches. So grab my trimmer. And we're going to cut this down. I'm going to cut off 1.5 inches. Right there. Now we have our piece that we need. Okay, now we're ready to assemble this. What we're going to do is we're going to put a 4-inch on this end, then a 2.5, then the 5 goes next, another 2.5, and we end with 3 on this end. Okay, just like that. So we want this 5x7 over this seam. Pretty good. So you can either use glue or score tape. I'm going to go ahead and just use glue. Put a good amount of glue on this here. Like I said, I'm going to put this here, so I have about 1 inch top and bottom, and I have the seam right here in this 5x7. Then I'm going to take my spacer here. That gives me my 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to glue down a 2.5. Make sure they are lined up here on the edge. Push up against that. This here, glue my 3. Just make sure it's lined up here on the bottom. Get that burnished in. We go over here, we use the same spacer. We're going to glue 2.5 to this other side of the 5x7. last one. So we have extra over here on this end. We'll probably trim that off some, because we want about 1 inch all the way around to wrap. Put this piece down. Make sure that butts up. There's the 4x7. So this ends up being the front of our organizer, and this is the flap that comes over. So we don't need the little spacer anymore. We can put that away. Okay, there we go. I'm going to flip this over and burnish it with the flat of my bone folder. And then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to trim off a little bit on this end. Toss that. And this side I had it a little uneven. That's fine. This is all going to wrap, and I'm going to trim this down just a little bit. Okay, so there we go. Now then, I'm going to angle cut about 1/8 of an inch in the tip of that chipboard. Like that. And then I like to do the long sides first, so I'm going to stand these up like this. Push that down. Other side as well. So let's take our score tape, just to make it easier to hold this down. I am going to put score tape on the edge here. Burnish that. Other side. I am going to use glue, but this just makes it easier to hold it down, especially when you have a long piece like this. Okay. So let's peel this off. And add our glue. Some glue along the edge, along that top edge of the chipboard. And then from the center, I'm going to start bringing it over, and that score tape is going to help hold it down and then burnish it so that the glue actually grabs. Okay, so that. A little bit on the edges here, just burnish it. Let's flip it around and I'll do the other long side. So glue along the top edge of the chipboard. And then fill in. And bring it over and burnish. And along the edge. Okay. Now then, we're going to take the bone folder and we're going to burnish in any of the cardstock that's extending over, because we want to be able to cover that point but not have a lot of bulk there. Now I'm going to bend these over like I did on the others. Okay. So same thing, let's put score tape along the edge. These are shorter, so we probably wouldn't need it as much, but I'm going to go ahead and use that too. Okay. Just like that. Still that, trim that off a little bit right there. Pull the tape off of this one. Put glue along the chipboard where the fold is. And then in between, bring it over and burnish. Okay, there's that one. So it's like a big long album cover. It's kind of like the original or traditional way of doing an album cover instead of the lay flat. But for this box, I wanted the full one continuous piece for this organizer. Okay, so there's that. So that's going to fold there. There, I'm just carefully folding it, getting my folds. So when this comes up, it's going to come up like this and over. We have a top, and then we have this little flap here over the top. So just smoothing this out if it's a little even there. So the magnets will hold that like that. Of course, you want it squared up. Okay, so there's the box. So we can add our pattern paper next. Okay, so now we're ready to put some pattern paper on. So on this front flap here, I'm going to burnish these. First, I'm going to burnish these grooves in here. Try to make it as even as possible. Hopefully everything will come out okay. So that looks about right. So here on this front flap, I wanted the chickens with the solid green. So the green piece is cut at 6 7/8. Since this is 2.5 by, or it's 3. Is this the 3-inch? This is the 3-inch by 2 7/8 on the green. And then the chickens I made a little bit smaller, so they are 6 5/8 wide. You pay attention to your direction, by 2 5/8 tall. So that's going to glue right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Just right here. Burnish that down. Make sure I'm getting it on straight. Cut this piece out of the red gingham, and it is 6 7/8 wide by 3 7/8. Glue on this. Now I am not inking. If you want to ink, you do that before you add your pattern paper. Put this down. This is not double matted, it just has the gingham. Bring this down so I can burnish. This piece up here is going to be the gingham. So this one's cut the 6 7/8 long by 2 3/8 wide, or tall rather. I'm going to put this on. Here. Okay, so this back piece is going to be chickens. Now you need to pay attention when you turn it around. You want the chickens to go the correct direction. So So the green is the 6 7/8 long by 4 7/8 tall, and then the chickens are 6 5/8 wide, and the height of them is the 4 5/8. So we're going to put this on next. Just make sure that you're paying attention to the direction of your paper. If you're using the chickens, you want to make sure that they are going the right direction compared to those on, on the front. So they're like the same here and the same here. So we burnish that. But when this is opened up, I'll show you. They're going the opposite ways when it's flat, but when it's folded, they're going the correct way. So then, this is another piece here that is the 6 7/8 wide by the 2 3/8 tall. And so we'll glue this one down. Okay, so that's the outside of our organizer patterned. Okay. Super cute. That paper is so cute. Really, really love it. So there is it with the pattern paper on the outside. For the inside of the organizer, take one sheet of a solid paper of whatever color you want, or if you want to use a print. But I went with the yellow. Cut it 6 7/8 by 12 and glued that one down here, and then I cut the remaining piece 6 7/8 by 5 and glued that on. Mine's a little crooked here. I think it is actually my cover that may be crooked, but I burnish it really, really well with your bone folder in your hand and let that dry so that it's going to keep it from buckling along the seam line. So I'm going to let this sit and dry for a bit before I start folding it up, and then we'll start making our organizer sleeves. I've let my little organizer cover set, and so here it is folded up. This opens up, so there's the inside. And now we're ready to make our sleeves for the inside of the book, or inside of the organizer. So we need to cut 8 pocket sleeves. Let's make sure I get the ones that I want to use. 8 pocket sleeves. You want to cut all 8 the same size. And if you're doing directional, you want to make sure that it's 9 inches tall by 7 1/2 wide. So I'm going to move my organizer out of the way. So 9 inches tall. So from the top of your paper, cut 9, and then you will turn it and cut your 7 1/2. And then we will score these after I get them all cut. So that's one. So I can use either direction that I want. So I'm going to speed up the camera and keep cutting these. Okay, so we have 8 cut. Let me double check. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now we need the scoreboard. Grab my scoreboard here and my scoring tool. Okay, so you need to make sure that you're scoring correctly. So on the 9-inch side, you're going to make a score at 4.5. Then you're going to turn to your 7.5-inch side, and you're going to score at a 1/2 inch and 7. Okay, I'm going to do one more with you, and then I'll do all the others off camera, and then I'll show you how to cut them. So 9-inch in at the top, score at 4.5. Turn to the 7.5-inch side and score at a 1/2 inch and 7. And do that on all 8. Okay, so we have them all scored, all 8. On your 7.5-inch side, you scored at a 1/2 inch and at 7. When you turned it to your 9-inch side, you scored at 4.5. So now we need to cut out score lines so that we can actually make our pockets, sleeves, page sleeves. So with it looking at you right side up with the 9-inch going on the sides, 7.5 across your top, this 1/2 inch score line here, it's kind of hard. I'm going to flip it over maybe so we can see it. I'm going to fold it. Fold it and get a good line to show you. So you're going to cut them all the same. So from the bottom, so here's the bottom right here. We're going to cut this 1/2 inch out up to the center score line, right like that. And then you can do a slight angle cut here and leave it like that. This side you're going to do the same. Just like that. So now you have it looking like that. And then here at the top, we're also going to do a little angle cut here to the fold. So now your piece or your page should look like this. And you just have to determine, do you want the chickens out? Now yes, on the back the image is going to be upside down, but it really isn't going to matter because they're going to be glued together. So, you know, if you want to see the chickens on the inside, then you would do it this way. But I'm going to flip it like this. And to put it together, you're going to fold the score lines like so. Burnish that down. And you're going to fold this up. Okay, just like that. So now when we glue them together, on this one here, I need to cut just a little more out. So you might have to trim away a little more of the score line when you're folding it in. There we go. Now then, on the front side, I think I want the notch. So this now is, whatever, I can't even think the size. 7.5, 6.5, I believe. Yeah, 6.5. So the center is going to be 3.25. So if you want to try to make sure you're getting it in the center with this folded under, 3.25 is about right there. So you can either eyeball it or line it up to where you, with your ruler. There we go, 3.25, and you just do a notch punch. So now we have a notch like that, and then we take our glue. You just put glue on the tabs here, fold it in. And then fold this up, flip it over, and burnish the sides. And now you have a little pocket sleeve for your organizer. So go ahead and do all of them the exact same way. Okay, so I decided both sides of my folders need the notch So since I had punched the front one, I just went ahead and just lined up the whole thing with the one that I already punched in the center and punched the back. So it's easier for you if you'll punch both of them at the same time at the center it at 3 1/4 right there. So now I have all these put together. So I have 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now we're going to put these together. So we glue, like this is the first one. We're going to glue the next one to it, just in the center. So the glue is just going to go here, kind of like a square, right in there. I'm going to leave the top edge, all of this area around here without any glue, and line them up and burnish that and let that dry. So what that does, that gives this give space here on the sides. So this is the back side of this one, so this is the front. So I'll put my glue here kind of in a square like this. We're just attaching them together, but not solid. You want to make sure you still have space for them, and line them up. You'll see my notches are not perfect, but that's okay. I mean, they're not perfectly lined up. I never get anything perfectly lined up, and it's okay because it's handmade, but it's really, really close. So we line this one up. Okay, so this is the back side that you're looking at right now. So burnish that. So there's our little dividers or pocket sleeves. You can see all the pretty little pattern papers. So go ahead and get your organizer cover, and we'll add this inside. We have our little page sleeves, pocket sleeves attached together. So you see how there's space in there to kind of give them room to open up. And you can put, these will hold 4x6 recipe cards, photos, note cards, whatever you want to put in here. So we have our little cover here. Now this is going to sit in this 2.5 inch space. And this first one is going to attach to the front, and then the back one will attach to the larger space back here. So I'm going to glue this one in first. So you want the glue to just go right here in the center like we did earlier, right in there. Put a good amount of glue there. I want to make sure it sticks. Okay. Now I need to line this up with the bottom so that it's centered. About, I'm looking here, these are 6.5 and this 7. So you want about 1/4 of an inch in on each side. So that looks about right. So I'm going to reach in there. I've got it down. I've got the glue down. I'm reaching into this first one, and it does stick out above, and I'm going to burnish that. I'm going to leave it in there so they're straight on both sides and it's flush on the bottom. So see, it sticks out that much above the top, and that's what we want. So let's let that dry. Okay, so now we've let that dry a bit. We're going to do the same thing here. In the center, you do like a rectangle of glue. Not all the way down, not all the way up, and not all the way across. It's just right in the center. I put a good amount of glue this time. I want to make sure it stays. So now this is going to sit in this piece here. But this right here is going to attach to this bigger section, the 5-inch section, but you want to make sure the bottom is along the fold. It's hard to show you in the camera because I've got to make sure I'm looking at it, and it's about 1/4 inch each side. So you want it straight, and then I'm going to reach in there and burnish and get that attached to the back. We're going to let that dry. Okay. Super easy to make, super cute. And then now I'm going to take scraps of paper and probably decorate this inside sections up here, or you can leave it plain. So I've been working on my little organizer box. I've cut up different 4x6 pieces of cardstock, some of the solid paper that we had, some leftover prints, and the journaling cards. So I have all that to tuck into the pocket sleeves or the page sleeves. I did add this chicken print to this part on top of the yellow, and then this green print here. You can't see, it's a little tiny print right there on those to decorate that up. And I did mat these chicken borders onto the same green that's here and attach that there. But I am going to add a magnet now. So initially I was going to put magnets underneath, one on each side, but I need something really, really strong. So in my stash, I found this really heavy tonic magnet. And so I'm going to leave it exposed right now on top of the paper because I really need the magnet to attach. I may go back later and put a circle of paper on there. I don't know. It doesn't bother me to have that there on the inside flap. But I do need a magnet over here, and I want to put it on top of the border, and then I'm going to cover that other little magnet. And it is a flatter one. I didn't want a real thick one, two real thick ones. So I'm going to attach that right there, center it, and then put some glue on this magnet. Now then, also, I didn't tell you, when you put this in, make sure this last sleeve doesn't touch the bottom of the fold. You need a little swing in there if you can see the space, because that will help the box to sit up straighter. So now we need to, with the magnet ready to go, I need to try to line up everything. It's really hard, straight across as possible. I think that will do it, and I hope that give me a mark there where I can see, and I'm going to put my magnet down, and I'm going to let that dry so I can double check and make sure, and then this piece will go over it, which will help decorate that. I think that will look real cute there. So that is adding the magnet on the organizer. I've been going through these scraps of patterned paper, used a couple of the solid 12 by 12 sheets, a couple, probably 2.5 12 by 12 sheets of the natural artisan cardstock to make insert cards for this. I pulled out some buttons that I have collected from Country Craft Creations from different projects, and of course I used the ribbon and twine that I got in my design team kit, the sticker sheet, and all the ephemera. I didn't use it all. Some I've set aside for maybe a possible second little album project or something. But anyway, I want to go through these with you real quick and put them inside the box, and then the last thing I will do is decorate the outside or the top of the box. Now the way this is designed, the magnet holds it closed. Remember, I put a heavy-duty magnet on it. When this opens up, it will not stand on its own. It will, flop down like that. It's just a little file folder type organizer. But if you prop it up against a shelf or a wall or something, it will stand up for you. So I have all these pockets that I can put things in. So I've done a couple of cards with the ribbons. So I use scraps of the pattern paper, some of the cutouts, the ephemera pieces, stickers, and the ribbon to decorate these. I left the backs plain. So I've got, I'm going to put in the second one here, and you see the little ribbon stick up. And then I'm going to skip one and put this green one. And then skip one and put another green one, I think. And then the last one, and these are cut to 4 by 6. I'll put one here. The very last one back there. Or maybe I'll bring this, I think I'll bring one forward. So you can just play with it, put them wherever you want, the way they look to you, like that. So I put them all in a row like that. So then a couple of them, I just took bits of paper and a sticker and a paper clip on this. So I'm going to put this one here in the front. And some of them I just left plain with stickers just to decorate them up. And I'm going to set these aside that have the little dividers. Some of them I decorated with the sticker and a button. And these, with some scraps, I made a little belly band. This is 2 of the cut apart cards folded in half to make a booklet. And then this one here, my rules. So put that in there. This one I made like a side pocket. So you can do some like that, where I have a little notch there. But this is one of the cut apart cards and a sticker here on the side. And then I even use this size of cut apart and put a divider on those. I have 2 of those. This is just a plain card where I matted the cardstock on it to kind of give it, you know, you could do recipes or notes, whatever you want to do on those. So I'm going to just keep sticking some of these in. Here's another one with a belly band and a folded cut aparts to make a little booklet. So I utilized my punches, my 1.5 inch scallop punch, and the stickers to decorate things up. This one has this mat glued down, and then this you can tuck up underneath it. It's got a little journaling card. Another plain one. A couple of those. Just stickers. So you can decorate them up any way. Whoops, that one hasn't got anything in it that you want. And these are perfect for, like I said, 4 by 6 photos, 4 by 6 recipe cards. These are all have a divider. I'm just splitting these up like this. And I'll go over them in just a minute. This one has a tuck spot. Put that one there. This is a small one. I just added a button on it. This is another one where I added a button here and then a cut apart pattern paper, the 4 by 6, and then added a more neutral pattern here and a sticker. There's one like that. And then I have a tag. I have 2 of those. This one's really cute. I did the banners from the ephemera and added buttons to the top. Yes, I really do need all these chickens. So the buttons just really make it really cute and country-like. This one is the ephemera card, or the cut-apart card this size. I punched little circles out of green, put the little holes in there, and tied some of the jute twine. So you could take this out and hang it on the wall if you wanted to, like that. And it's just really cute little saying. So I'm just going to tuck it in, probably up in here, and let that twine hang out. And you're a good egg, and I was just going to tuck that underneath there. lots of cards can go in here. There's an extra tag there. This one I just did a little tuck spot there, a little cute little button. Also the same on this one. In the front. This one's got a little tuck spot and a button. And here's one of the ones with the paper clip. Okay, so now the divider ones, we got 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I have one that size, I have two that size. This I just folded the paper over and used my stub punch. So these are cut apart like that. Use some stickers on those. So I have two of those. Let's see here. These with the circles. These are the some of the ephemera that was in scallops, and then I punched my own scallops and added stickers to these cut aparts. This is a regular piece of paper. So these are 3 different ones. I'm going to put one here in the front here, and they just kind of stick out a little bit. Kind of just give some dimension to all of this. First I got to get it in there. There we go. Put this one back here. These I used ephemera pieces on these. So put one here, one in the far back. And then these are punch circles. This one I just left it plain. This is a scallop punch with a button, and this is a little ephemera piece with a button. So I'm just going to go through where there's not anything probably, and stick one in each of those. Some of them will have more than one, of course. Make sure this goes down in there and this one goes here. And like I said, these are the little square ones where I did the stub punch with the paper. Put that one there. And that one back here. And then I have the 2 tags that come with the collection. I cut out punched circles and put them on there, and then I tied some of the jute twine in there. And that is all the inserts in this little organizer. It can hold lots more if you wanted to make more. And of course the strong magnet will just hold it closed like that. So now I'm going to put something on the top, and then I may tie a ribbon around it as well to help keep it all contained. So we'll do that next. Super, super cute. Okay, even though I have a magnet on this flap, sometimes it does come loose because I've added all those little inserts in there, and that's okay. I took the pretty ribbon from a design team package, and I cut it down to what I wanted, wrapped it around, tied it in a bow, and then I've secured it on the back with this sticker that I used glue underneath the ribbon, and on the sticker it says the chicken coop on the back. Then you turn it around so it comes up the front. It's not secured on the front so it can drop down, tied in a bow, and then I glued this ephemera piece, says farm fresh eggs right there. So here on the left I'm going to be adding these flowers. So I broke them down into 2 medium-sized ones, or the bigger ones, and a bud, and the leaves here. So 1 set of leaves. So I'm going to start gluing them here on this side right here, just on that circle like that. And then I'm going to I use art glitter glue. I'm going to put quite a bit of glue here on them. And just kind of stick it down like that. And this one's going to go in there real tight with that one. This will dry and be very secure, but I like to use the art glitter glue because I can move it around a little bit as I want to, to get it in the position that I want. Okay, Now the little bud I think is going to go right in there. I'm just going to put the glue down in there. I'm just going to stick it in on its side. Push it in pretty good. Now then I have bits of the ribbon that I've cut because I think I may want to try sticking some of these down in there. Don't see how I'm going to have to do the glue. So I'm going to put some glue right in here. And I'm going to take my tweezers, I think. I'm going to loop this. I'm going to make it even here. And I'm just going to try to poke that down in there as a loop, kind of like that. Even though I have some tails sticking up, we'll see. We'll see how it looks as we're working on it. We'll trim those off. Put these down a little bit. So let's go over here to the side. I'm going to put some glue in there. And you just poke the ends of that ribbon in and just kind of smush it in and let that loop come up. Kind of like that. Some glue in there like that, right there to secure it. Okay, so that looks good. This one here, these I'm going to trim out. Okay, and then one more, I think, under here. So just put a dollop of glue, and I actually trimmed this down some, so I don't have as much tail. And then I poke it in there, take my tweezers, and I just start smushing the tail of it in and keeping that loop. Just like that. Okay, so there's that. Then I have some of the gingham ribbon that I want to use. Now I'm going to trim these down. I have 3 of these. I'm going to cut them in half so I don't have as big. I'm going to do the loop on them also. So let me see if I can do one in here. Just kind of randomly place them in. Now this ribbon may be a little more picky. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, it's doing pretty good. Just a little bit of color like that. Let's do one up here. So this is how you do it and make it look like you've got bows in there, but you've actually just got loops of the ribbon, which works really, really well. And you can add more glue as you need to. Like this one, I need to add a little more and get that end of this one in. Like that. Thinking, go put one up in here. And remember, your glue is wet, so if it doesn't look the way you want it to, you can just pull it out and add another one in or move it somewhere else. So I think I like that one. So we have this one here. It's not showing up real well. Let's squish this around a little bit. stuck down. I'm going to put in another one here. Because that one's not showing up very well. So maybe we can kind of add a little extra. This is kind of, let's push this one a little more. There we go. Just a little bit peeking out. We don't have to have a whole lot peeking out, just a little bit like that. So that looks pretty good. Then I tied a loopy bow with some of the twine that I got in a design team package, and I'm thinking that I may want that down in there. And so I kind of fold these in half where the knot is, like this, and I put the glue where I want it to go, and I poke that knot down in there like that. So it's not like a flat bow just laying there. It is kind of like that. I'm going to let it dry before I actually play with it any. Okay, so we're going to squish these together pretty good. And I like how that looks. So there's how it looks on the front. So I'm going to let all that dry and clean up my stuff, and then we'll wrap this up. This is the tutorial for this little organizer that can hold your recipe cards, your photos, your 4x6 recipe cards, 4x6 photos, notes, cards, letters, whatever you want to put in it. Super cute in the chicken theme, so go cute in your kitchen or dining room, wherever you want to put it. Makes a super cute little gift. So I want to thank you all so much for following along with this tutorial. Be sure to subscribe to my channel by clicking on it down below. There's a link to this to subscribe down in the description of the video, as well as the links to the products that I used, the affiliate links to where I can get a little bit of a commission if you purchase this from Country Craft Creations. Also, click the bell when you subscribe so you'll receive notification of upcoming videos that I upload. And as always, shop at countrycraftcreations.com. Thank you, everybody. I do have some left over from this design team package, so I will try to put out a little folio or album or something as well in the next few days. So thanks again. Bye-bye.